Hi, my name is Madison, this is Remy, and this is my handler Alexis, and today I'm going to be talking about manual restraints. There are three different types of restraints. There's verbal restraints, physical restraints, and chemical restraints. The first type of restraint I'm going to talk about is verbal restraints. Verbal restraints can be used to calm down a horse if they're antsy, nervous about something, if you need to say whoa just to kind of know that you're there so that they will know that you're there. Or you can use your voice to kind of get their attention if they're misbehaving, not paying attention to you, and you just kind of need to say, like with a stern voice, like hey, to get their attention. A verbal restraint is effective. Another restraint is chemical restraints. Chemical restraints can be used when any type of manual restraint isn't effective. Three different most common chemical restraints is ACE, Rompin, and Ditomidine. ACE is most commonly used when you're clipping a horse. If a horse is just not okay with being clipped, makes it very nervous and antsy, that's a lot of standing still and dealing with that. So ACE is usually effective in those circumstances. Rompin and Ditomidine is a type of chemical restraint that's primarily used by your vet. Now I'm going to be moving into physical or manual restraints, and I want to make it clear that using these physical and manual restraints, it is not used to cause pain to the horse or force them to do anything. It's only used as a distraction. Right now Alexis is demonstrating the most basic form of a manual restraint with a halter and a lead rope. You would use this for any daily activity, taking your horse in and out of his stall, grooming, tacking up, anything like that. When using a halter and lead rope, you want to make sure your halter fits the horse properly so it's not sagging down like low on the nose and there's not a big gap under the jaw. And you also want to make sure that you don't have the lead rope wrapped around your hand. If the horse was to pull away from you, you can twist your hand, get your hand caught. It's very dangerous for both you and the horse. Another common restraint to use with a halter and a lead rope is tying the horse or cross tying a horse. But when you are tying a horse, you want to make sure you have a halter that can break, so a leather halter or a nylon halter with a leather crown piece. You never want to tie with a complete nylon halter or rope halters because they will not break if the horse was to pull back frantically from spooking if he was tied. If you do tie with those, you want to have some type of quick release, but it's recommended that you have a leather halter or something that can break. The first manual restraint that I'm going to demonstrate is the chain over the nose. You want to go to the cheek piece of the outside of the halter, going outside in. You want to wrap over the nose and around the nose band, come out through the opposite cheek piece and run up and clip on the earpiece with the clip facing outward, because if the clip was facing inward, it could rub on the cheek, and if it was to be pulled, it could scratch or hurt the horse. A chain shank is used primarily for an excitable horse, possibly going out to turnout. It's something you do not want to tie your horse with because it can cause damage to the nose with an incredible amount of pressure if they pull back, and it will not break like a normal leather halter could if they were to pull back frantically. So again, tying a horse is a big no-no. And when removing it, you just want to go the same path as you did when you were putting it on, but you want to do it quickly and quietly because you do not want to spook the horse, just like that. The next restraint that I'm going to demonstrate is the lip chain. And the lip chain is applied similar to the chain shank, and how you apply it is you run the chain from the outside in, run across the nose, and the only difference with this is you do not wrap the chain around the nose band. And you will run up to earpiece, again with the clip facing outward. Once the chain is over the nose, you want to quietly and gently run down the lip and then up in the crease of his gums, right at the base of his gums there. And you want to keep a downward pressure so it's effective and so it stays in place. And also when you are sliding the chain up in the crease of the mouth there, you want to make sure you don't run it across the teeth because it can be very painful. It's a chain on their gums. You want to be quiet about it. And when you are removing it, again, it's similar to the way you put it on, just backwards, and just slide it off. You use the lip chain in situations if you have a vet doing some type of procedure and your horse isn't comfortable with it. It's also used as a distraction. However, this is a more severe form of a manual restraint because it's in such a sensitive area on the horse's mouth. When you have the lip chain on the horse, this is something you typically wouldn't use when you're leading the horse, and definitely something you don't want to jerk on if your horse may be misbehaving. It's very painful in a very sensitive area of the horse. You also, of course, do not want to tie with the chain. The next restraint I'm going to do is a lip twine. It has the same effect as a lip chain, but a lip twine is handy, especially if you don't have a chain on you, to just grab some baling twine or a small piece of rope if you have it. This piece of baling twine already has a little knot in it with a loop, which makes it easier when applying it to his halter. I can just kind of run it through and loop to secure it here. And then I want to come over the nose and through inside out the other side of the cheek piece. And just like the lip chain, I'm going to slide down the nose, lift the lip gently, make sure it's in the crease of his lip, pull down, and it has the same effect as the lip chain. And when removing it, just the way you applied it, just like that. The thinner the twine you use, the more severe it is, so a lot of times people will use multiple twine and braid it, or you can use a small rope if you have it. When applying the twitch, you want to put your first 4 fingers in the loop of the twitch and leave your pinky out to make sure when you're applying the twitch that it does not slide down your arm, so you don't get your hand caught in the loop of the twitch. And when applying it, you want to grab their upper lip just below the nostril, get a good hold of their lip, and you want to twist the twitch to get it tight, keeping it under your arm so it's secure. And you do not want to let go of the twitch, just like so. And release. It's always good to rub their nose afterwards when you're done to help stimulate the circulation and get it flowing again. Like I mentioned before, you do not want to let go of the handle when the twitch is on the horse, because if you were to let go, it can be a weapon and can be dangerous if the horse was to toss his head for your handler, for you, and for the horse himself. You do not want to leave the twitch on for more than 10 to 12 minutes because it can become extremely painful for the horse. In the beginning, it releases endorphins and is calming for the horse, but once it exceeds a certain amount of time, it can be extremely painful and actually cause damage to the horse's lip with the nerve endings, and it's something you just don't want to leave on for very long. There are 3 different types of twitches. This one right here is a rope twitch. As you can see, there's a rope loop at the end of this handle. There is a chain twitch that is just like this one, but of course with a chain. And the third one is a humane twitch. It's a hands-free twitch that you can leave on while you're doing something to your horse. If you don't have a handler available, a twitch is something that can be used if you're clipping, if your horse won't stand still, as a distraction. The next restraint I'm going to demonstrate is the shoulder roll. The shoulder roll is a good restraint that's nice and quick. You don't need any equipment with you. What you want to do is you want to, within the triangle of the neck right here, grab the loose skin and kind of pinch and roll into his neck, just like that. This is a really great distraction if you're trying to give a shot. Just kind of keeps their mind off of having somebody back there. When using the shoulder roll, you want to make sure you're not doing this for too long. It can be hard on the human's hand, and it's also not very comfortable for the horse. You want to make sure your nails are clipped because your nails will be digging into the horse's skin. Another restraint that's quick and easy is the leg lift. To perform the leg lift, you just pick up the foot as if you were to pick his foot up to clean it out. Curl the toe up so he can't really get away from you. The higher you hold it, the more effective it'll be. It's easier on your back. Circumstances in which you would use this is if someone is working on the opposite front leg, if they're doctoring a wound, or wrapping and the horse is kind of antsy and doesn't want to stand still. If someone is working on the hind leg, you want to work on the same side. You want to lift the leg on the same side that the person is working on. Because if you did it on the opposite, the horse is able to stand on the diagonal pair and it wouldn't be as effective. When doing the leg lift, you always want to do the front legs. You do not want to do the hind legs. The hind legs are more powerful, they can get away from you easier, and it can be dangerous if they wanted to kick you. One of the last manual restraints that I'm going to discuss is the ear twitch. The ear twitch isn't a typical practice that we use here at William Woods. And when using an ear twitch, you would grab the ear and twist it, and this is very painful for the horse. It can cause damage to the cartilage in their ear, and it also makes for a head-shy horse, which is something we don't want. This concludes my video in discussing the restraints of the horse, and just a reminder that these restraints are not used to force a horse to do anything, and they're not used to harm a horse. They're only used as an aid for humans if they're trying to get something done with a horse that a horse may feel uncomfortable